We have Glenn Tuckman, the vice chair of the board. We have Peter Tuckman, a member. I'm Lynn Merrill, I'm the chair of the board. Don Porter is our administrative assistant. Chris is not here. Peter Bailey is a member. Robin Day will be coming in a few minutes late. And Glenn Wigan, our town planner, is here as well. The first hearing tonight is the Deshane Living Trust, 75 Exeter Road, map R36-2-1. The applicant is requesting the subdivision of one residential lot, which is situated in Kingston and East Kingston, into two lots along the town line. The lot size can be with the existing residential dwelling in Kingston will be 8.7380 plus or minus acres. Couldn't get any more exactly than that. So, the way the meeting works is that we call a hearing, we listen to the applicant and what they have to say, the planning board makes comments. We have sent this up to all our town departments, they send comments back to us, we read their comments as well. We get comments from our planner and our engineer. And then we'll open it to the public for any comment that you may have. And hopefully, we'll decide whether to make a decision tonight or continue to another meeting. I think that's about it. Can I just think that? Seeing not, we need, okay, so, Adam, are you ready to go to here without a microphone?
Kingston and East Kingston, and really the big picture, fairly straightforward, is we're just trying to separate the two, into the two lots along the town line, which currently is being taxed in each town separately, but it is one contiguous parcel currently. So what we're trying to do is just establish a lot along the town line. That's pretty much in a nutshell. I'll answer any questions that anyone has. I have gone through the comments that were provided by the consulting engineer, and if there are anything I can address,
okay. Well, Dennis, do you have any comments?
I do. Would you like me to read?
Absolutely.
So I looked at this from the point of East Kingston and East Kingston, and I made comments from each. So I'll just go through East Kingston first briefly, just to let you know where they're coming from. We had our planning board meeting last week, and it was continued based on addressing these comments and other comments by the East Kingston planning board. So my first comment from East Kingston, section 7F, show the proposed driveway location, and again that's for the East Kingston portion. Steep slopes, section 7L, it would be appropriate to clearly show a minimum of 3/4 of an acre of upland topographic area that has slope down greater than 15%. Number 3 was section 17. Section 10B7, show the distance from the proposed building area to the nearest fire pump or cistern. Number 4, section 8A10. There are 2 test pits shown, however, they must be located at least 50 feet apart. Please move the label TP2 to be able to test the data, which was done on a revised plan. So that was done. 16A1, provide the name of the town agent who witnessed digging the test pits. Number 6, 9C, provide NRCS soil survey to determine the existing soil complex. 7, section 10B4, concrete bounds must be set at the new corners. If unavailable, set because of water, then set as close as possible with reference dimensions to the corner. Number 8, are there any very poorly drained soils or vernal pools on the property? Question mark. Number 9, Kingston Article 956A, please show the contiguous upland area that has natural slope less than 15%. Number 10, Article 956D, provide a distance from the dwelling to the NHFC hydrant or acceptable fire department comments or acceptance by the fire department. Article 90511A, show the driveway to the existing dwelling. And 12 is Article 90511E, although existing, show site distance in both directions along Exeter Road. If it does not meet the minimum, then perhaps the driveway could be moved. Number 13, 90514C9, provide endorsement block for the planning board, and that's actually endorsements for both towns. 14, Article 90514C19, provide site-specific soil map or justifiable waiver. Number 15 is 90514C24, please provide a state operational approval number for the waste disposal system in Kingston. If not, then provide test pits within the 4K area, which I think that he's done that on the revised copy. 16, there is a change in bearing along the town line, but they should not be. And we talked about that last week also. It's easy enough to fix. 18, wetland line should extend to the property line. 19, lot line curve on Route 111 Exeter Road is not tangent, it should be labeled or provide a forward bearing for closure. 20, provide detail for the southwest corners. It appears the lot lines are not at those monuments. 21, label the monuments and provide symbol in the legend. 22, please identify the building setback line to distinguish it from buffer lines. 23, surveyor's statement says that this plat is not a subdivision, so please clarify. Number 24, the bylaw shall be provided to both towns to sign, one town should be designated to record it. 25, strike through text in the locus map, the registry will not record the plan without lines to the text. Number 26, a bound certification must be provided by the surveyor for monuments to be set. So those are my comments. Almost all of them can be easily addressed. I'm sure that can be done real easily. So I guess if there's any question or concerns about these comments, I can address them further with us.
Thank you. What?
Certainly. As is usually the case between Dennis and I, we look at things. We look at things as an engineer, and I look at things as a plan. What I look at when I see this plan is a proposal that results in no change on the Kingston side of things. It's a building lot that already has a home, well-established septic system, driveway. Everything has been there, and nothing's changing. The only change is creating a boundary line along the town line, which I understand why they want to do it, so they can have two parcels, because I think the owners for many years thought that they had two parcels, and after things occurred, they realized that they didn't have two parcels. So that's the goal of this subdivision. So from my perspective, my comments are as follows. One, the newly created boundary property that runs along the existing town line must be monumented at each lot corner with either concrete or granite posts. The town line should also be referenced according to its placement following the last regulation by the boards of selectmen for the two towns. So there has to be an understood town line, and that understood town line has to be referenced with meets and bounds measurements. So I would assume that the subdivision plan should show this. The subdivision plan needs an endorsement block, that's something that Dennis said as well. The zoning designation for the town of Kingston is indicated in the notes. Textually, it's indicated as being single family, it's indicated as SFR-AGR, which is correct. In the parentheses, it says just single family residential. So it really should say single family residential agricultural, because that's the actual zoning district on the Kingston side. Of the things that we would look at to require of a newly subdivided lot, I do think that as we have attempted to understand what our impervious coverages are throughout town, that our standard that asks for what the existing or proposed impervious surface will be on the lot should be included on this plan. In this case, on the Kingston side, all of the development, I expect that attempts to occur has already occurred. It still would be good to have that percentage coverage, because we track that now as part of the stormwater management that we were required to do for the MS4 requirements for Kingston. There should be no added stating that the plan will comply with Kingston's fire protection regulations, and there should also be a note that says all roadways, access ways, parking and sidewalk facilities shall be constructed per town regulations. And I say that because the subdivision regulations require that in anticipation of new lots, but complying with fire regulations for existing lots seems appropriate as well. So that's why I would do this.
Thank you. And there were no comments on other comments. We don't have to work with that. Does the planning board have any discussion, any questions?
Well, normally, something about some town, another town, we would go over a quick determination of regional impact, but since this is not a development and it has no impact, there's no subdivision occurring in both towns that have actually conducted hearings on this, I think we can waive that determination of regional impact.
Yeah, I mean, East Kingston could consider, because maybe there's going to be a housing development there. But from our perspective, we're being told things are going to stay as they are. So it's a single family house lot going in, and a single family house lot coming out.
So with that in mind, I'll just make a motion, just so we put it on the record that due to the essentially no impact in the town of Kingston, that this application would not have regional impact.
Second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Make a motion. Vote jurisdiction.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Anyone opposed to plans appear to be complete enough that we can accept jurisdiction? Jurisdiction. Is there any question or comment on that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we vote jurisdiction. We're ready to move forward. Any other comments? There is a request for a waiver.
I'm sorry, I was going to ask if you wanted the applicant's engineer to respond to some of Dennis's comments. I don't know if you're ready to do that now or.
So we did look at the overall list of both towns and addressed, I'll say about 85% of them right now. The few items that we have is the first is the site steep slopes in East Kingston. I went through those quick because they overlap with both. The distance from the proposed
Any other comments? Okay, we'll open public comment. Does the public have any comment? If you do, you just need, you have applicants on there?
If you get somebody up there, we'll get a microphone.
Okay. If anybody does, you need to introduce yourself and give your address, who you live, and start with your last name. Okay. I see no public comment. Sure. All right, then we'll close public comment. So, where do we move from here? Do we feel that there's with contingencies, or do we go and need to go back after they've completed the changes?
You have a waiver.
We have to do the waiver. So we do have a waiver request for Hancock Associates acting on behalf of the Duchesne Family Trust, hereby formally request a waiver of site specifics, surrounding mapping, and mandatory preliminary design review, based on the proposed subdivision application of a new lot line, currently the town line. The remaining area development is approximately 20 acres, and will need an on-site testing design and be required in construction. Please do not hesitate to contact our office should you have any additional questions or comments, and it's like Mr. O'Neill. Do we need two votes on this, one for mandatory design and one for site specific work?
Well, obviously, we've skipped the preliminary design review step, so I'll make a motion to grant that waiver. Because we're already into this. Yeah, let's take it. I'll second that.
Motion and a second to skip the design review. We will reach to it, that's okay.
Just put them there.
Peter. Do we have any further comments on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? And then we have a motion for the waiver of the site specifics.
I guess I refer to Dennis's comments about very early drained soils. I gather there's an awful lot of water, standing water, things like that. And whether the soils need mapping or it's just a wetland.
Well, in Kingston, the lot's already developed.
Right.
It's just meeting the requirement. If you feel as though that there's enough upland area there, it's not wetland, it would make sense that there's enough upland soils to meet the requirements.
Right.
I don't think we're wrong when you go out the same route. Again, if you're not building anything there, or not doing anything there, even if there was a vernal pool somewhere in or near where the existing wetland is shown, it's far enough away from the existing wetland.
Now, we have to tie East Kingston, with East Kingston.
Well, no, I mean, Kingston area, but there is a significant amount of wetlands there. You know, this would only come up if they would have to come back to this. There's a proposal to put another structure, like a detached ADU or something, and then if it was going to be close to the wetlands, then the requirement would occur then, and not now, because we're not looking at now analyzing development to see if they can put it in there, since the house is there. So I will give you one comment.
Only to support what you're saying is that I mean, we're and supporting what Glenn was saying, the way he looked at it. I understand both sides of the comments, but we're dealing with a parcel on the Kingston side that's been there for a very long time. That's currently existed. There were no proposed changes to it, and so I would support granting it.
So I'm looking at waiver for site-specific soil mapping. This lot.
Do a second.
I knew you were waiting.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
We just put the specific references in there.
We didn't.
With the minutes.
Waivers, yeah.
Yeah, so those two waivers, if we could
just cite the parts of the regs that deal with those. No, I know, but we should have it somewhere.
What's your pleasure?
You were starting to ask, were we in a position or were we interested perhaps in doing? Let's see if we got some report if that's just me. I would prefer continuance on this.
And since we're doing that, revising other plans for East Kingston anyway, they continue. I don't think it's gonna, but.
It puts us time on, so I'm not saying.
There's no time
They were outside of contract, they try to get this process moving through, so I'm just, making it work. So, whatever we can do, and not pushing, trust me. We've got, like I said, already made about 80 to 90% of revisions as a few to change, and plans to that.
So my question, I guess, now is, do you want 2 weeks as opposed to a month, because is that enough time?
We can do that, like I said, I'm just about done with everything, it's, I'll probably be done tomorrow, the remainder comments.
You could continue to the March 7th meeting or March 21st.
Right, I would suggest that, since ours is simpler than East Kingston's, quite frankly, I can see where they would need to continue, because there's a lot of stuff going on there.
What does our March 7th agenda look like?
It's like, just
I would make a motion that we continue this hearing to March 7th at 6:30 p.m. For plans to the planning board office here. Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to be able to do that by this? That's, we usually get 10 days to have the plans in ahead of time, and that kind of, with 14 days to the next meeting.
We'd have to relax that time.
I think we could relax that. I mean, the fact that this could be reviewed fairly quickly against Dennis, could we do it either to the Thursday or the week before? I think
the Monday would be sets the day before.
the Monday would be the day before.
I'll get into this quick as I can, I can tell you that. That will happen.
If you can get it to the Thursday or Friday before, that would be great.
Yeah, I would say about
We're trying to turn this around.
Would be the 7th,
10th.
March 7th would be the Thursday before the meeting.
Oh, sorry, second is Thursday, third is
Oh, yeah, sorry.
the caution here is that the office is closed, the town office is closed noon on Friday, so if we made it Friday, it had to be before noon on Friday.
It'll be before that.
Okay,
How's that?
that's good.
Thank you very much for seeing you in 2 weeks.
No, we didn't go there. Moved, and I think we did a second. You did make motion to continue to, March 7th at 6:30 p.m. and materials due by noon on Friday, the 3rd of March, and any additional time ahead of that would be great. So that would be it.
Okay, 7th.
Oh, Robin here. Second.
You can do it. All in favor? Thank you. See you in 2 weeks. Is somebody here from Housing Support? Thank you. Okay, so the next hearing of the evening is Housing Support 186 Main Street, now -21. This is a site plan review application for the total renovation of the existing structure to create 4 one-bedroom housing units, including a small addition to the rear. Also, the extension of the right side driveway to accommodate 1 handicap parking space and 3 extra parking spaces out in the rear. So, please come forward and give us your name and spelling. Welcome.
Street. I'm going to introduce Christopher Valley, who is our architect, here. The regulations at my plans for the plan. So we purchased the property in December of 2021, and we've been talking to the town since January of 2022 about the plans that we had, which were to create housing for veterans. We're working with the Hampshire Housing Finance Agency on the property, and as well as the VA of Manchester. So there's a new 4 housing for veterans, and our initial plan was to create 7 rooms with their own bathrooms in the building. Each person would have their own lease. And we would work with the VA on management and to provide services to the folks there. We have talked with the town council that way. We have talked with many people who are town that way. We have not had a response from our neighbors that would indicate that they were happy with the notion of having the 7 units there. So I'm talking with town council about what was acceptable. We decided that we would put forward this concept rather than the 7 rooms, we would go for separate apartments, 1-bedroom apartments, and that would go with the town for a site plan review, so that we could look at the notion of having an expanding driveway and parking in the back, which is something we put in so that we could address the neighbors' concerns who did not want to see cars in the front driveways, and also the impact of the small addition that we want to put back so that 2 of those units that are on the first floor will be handicap accessible.
So, again, I'm Chris Novello with the architecture, so if there are any questions about sort of the design and construction of the units, as Paul mentioned, the primary purpose was a small addition in the rear, which you can't see from the street, but it's
issue was when I worked for the state at the Community Development Finance Authority. We dealt with money from the Department of Housing and Urban Development that we granted out for housing, public facilities projects, and economic development projects. And Ms. Newcomb was working for and so she dealt with that interaction through that activity.
It's a small world. It is.
It's going to make that accessibility to the second floor. Okay, comments? What?
Yes. So my comments are as follows. This is a site plan review for renovation of existing structure in the historic district. Into 4 one-bedroom apartments. This is the first public hearing. This proposal, the board needs to consider in local jurisdiction, beginning with 65 acre park. The town has no regulations. Oh, isn't that interesting? The town has no regulations. The town has no regulations for review of multifamily proposals from the historic district 1. So the board is left to consider the proposal adequately provides for the 4 proposed units as detailed. The following are my comments upon reviewing the plan entitled Renovations 186 South Main Street, prepared by Industry Architecture and dated 1/25/2024. 1. The site plan regulations require plans to be recorded with the registry of deeds. For this to occur, plans need to be prepared by a licensed land surveyor. The applicant is asked for a waiver of this requirement. 2. The proposal requires that additional parking be created on the site. The proposal offers an extended driveway with plans for the construction of 1 accessible parking space and 3 conventional parking spaces. This driveway extension is set approximately 2 feet from the property boundary. Driveways are supposed to be offset 20 feet from property boundaries. The health inspector has indicated that the septic system design meets the capacity required for the proposed use. And when I say that indicated, that was told to me 2 weeks ago. I don't have it in writing, but I have been told that. Town council has recommended that the accessible apartment should be no shorter than for 1 year. And that suggestion was made so that there would not be confusion that this constituted a boarding house instead of apartments. From a zoning perspective, made difference. And those are my comments. It's an interesting proposal, and Ms. Newcomb is absolutely right. There has been a lot of discussion over the last year between all level of individuals working for the town about how this complies with or doesn't comply with zoning, what sort of procedure should be followed, and so my perspective is that the applicants have tried to act as they have been directed by the town.
So I've got a question about the waiver hidden process. As you mentioned that the registry of deeds won't accept a waiver that was not signed by a licensed surveyor. So
They won't require anything that isn't stamped by a licensed land surveyor.
requirement, so
Not the waiver, it's the plan.
the site plan, yes, so, we're asked to waive that requirement, but it's registry of deeds requirement.
Well, what that would mean is in the very few times that we have anticipated such a waiver, it ended with the planning board recording an affidavit at the registry instead of recording a plan at the registry.
Okay, so that would be the difference, is that
Yes, do you need comments?
I don't have any written comments, but I did the septic design for a previous owner named Mary Logan for 900 gallons a day, because at that point in time it was a duplex, it was 2 units, 3 bedrooms each, and so 900 gallons a day, and the septic tank is sized appropriately enough, so it's adequate septic for what they propose to have for the 40 units. I concur with Glenn about the driveway being too close to the property line. I find it hard to believe that there won't be any impact to the abutter, especially if it hasn't been surveyed, not knowing for sure exactly where those property lines are located. So if by chance the line was to be a little bit different than shown on the plan that they've submitted, the property line could go right off the edge of pavement, and any plowing or any vehicle traffic back and forth is going to be compromised. Plus, if a car's going in and one coming back out, it's a matter of which one's going to give up, and would someone have to be backing out into the street without a turnaround right in the front yard? That would be a concern that I have. Perhaps parking in the front of the building, between the building and the street, would be something that could be arranged instead of down close to the property line. But other than that, I don't really have any comments. I think it was worth taking the time to write something up.
Thank you. Could I address the neighborhood concern with some additional information? First of all, I wanted to say that we had property survey last summer, but it was by a registered engineer and not a New Hampshire land surveyor. And so at the time we had one or two go before you, we were unable to find someone that was an accredited land surveyor that could complete the task in a reasonable amount of time. We could not find anyone that could do the work. We actually took it off the office right now. No one can do it worse than 4 months. So which is why we did not give up looking, and I have in fact found someone that could complete it. We got a price, so we paid for another survey, but they can do it, and they probably have it completed by the end of March.
I would, while we're talking about the survey thing, I would just add my comment that, I mean, even before Ms. Newcomb said it, I do think that it's important that we do have a plan to move forward with the registry of deeds. In the case of where we've done affidavits, it's often, if my memory is correct, then you can jump in. I think it's been for situations where perhaps there's minor changes, small adjustments to things. I mean, this is a significant change to the, not necessarily, well, some to the outside, but certainly to the use of the property. I think having a recorded plan is important for this application. So.
I would also really agree. I think particularly this might be developments so close to property lines being imperative, if those property lines being exact, and everybody knows where they are.
Can I make a comment too, just really quick about the driveways? The existing driveway is that close. It's the other on the other side.
But the paved part of that project to like the front of the porch.
Right.
What I want to say is we're not going any closer than the existing driveway.
But you're extending that driveway. It's a very long.
Which doesn't take copy of others.
No story.
I was going to ask if you were given that waiver, how would you be dealing with snow removal so that it wouldn't impact the side neighbor to whatever direction it is.
But the snow will go to the middle of the lot, not to the side. I mean, to be truthful, we don't really want to create parking at the back, but we're doing it because the neighbors asked for it. They wanted to parking in the back. They wanted to see circulation that went around the property rather than seeing vehicles on the front. So we're just trying to create something that they wanted. So as far as where the design is, we don't have to comply with whatever you think is necessary.
Okay. Department comments are from the fire department, comply with all town ordinances, rules, and regulations, comply with the NFPA code of 2018. From the historic district commission. Apartments are not permitted, use in HD1, therefore variance is necessary. Apartments, two apartments require a minimum of 600 square feet of living space. Dimensions on the plans are not provided. Number 3, the portion of the planned driveway extension is not 20 feet from the lot line of the abutter's property. Comment from Public Works. No change to existing driveway within town. By the way, if more apartments added, a new mailbox unit will need to adhere to the town mailbox regulations. I think that's it for the department comments. Never received from health except, there's something from health. Okay. Planning board.
Public hearing, or public comment, just,
Well, any other questions on the planning board first?
well, I thought maybe the comment from the HDC that referred to apartments not being permitted, and I know that you've been dealing with this for quite a while, and do you want to address the history and background of that?
It was originally the interpretation by both the building inspector and myself that apartments were not a permitted use within Historic District 1. After a good deal of discussion between the applicant's attorney and town council, in discussions with the Board of Selectmen, it was determined that our interpretation was wrong and that apartments are allowed in the zoning district because of the way that residential use is described in the language of the ordinance.
Because it's so non-specific.
It's not, it just says residence as opposed to, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is an area that used to be an overlay district with the HDC, there was a single family residential overlaid on HDC or vice versa. And so when that was changed, that requirement, the single family residential requirement went away, and that presumably it's mixed use and there's apartments in the HD1.
Yes, what you're describing is a series of events and discussions that took place a while ago when I was here. I had always envisioned that Historic District 1 wasn't an overlay, that it was the district itself.
Right.
But that was the discussion that took place, I would say roughly 15 or 18 years ago. It's been a long time.
Close to 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So that was the final interpretation that I had explained to me from our council's guidance to the Board of Selectmen.
And the question came up about apartment sizes also. Can you, I guess, just tell us what each of the four apartments, the four apartments, right? What the sizes are of those?
I don't have that off the top of my head. I mean, they're roughly about, 600 square feet is probably pretty close to what they, it's on the second floor. The first floor of the apartments are larger.
So I think that would be a requirement, since that's a minimum apartment size, that you need to know that number. And it's close to 600, to be exact. And so, because that would, again, be a variance. As I would have thought, and Glenn, maybe you have an answer on this one, the driveway permit regulations or regulations do not require a variance as opposed to something that the planning board.
No, the 20-foot separation is a subdivision regulation, so it's a resident.
It's an Article 901 driveway permit regulations. 901.1C design criteria says 20-foot minimum from side lot lines. So that's a regulation. So
That is a regulation.
yes.
So it is from my understanding, it is not appealable to the ZBA.
Okay. So would it have would something that would have a waiver would have to be granted by the planning board? That was
Correct.
Yeah, I was trying to remember whether the regulations were required variances or ordinances required variances.
Regulations require either a waiver by the planning board or an appeal to Superior Court.
So that would not require variances, so that the area requirements would. Right.
The area requirements is actually found in the building code, so that is a zoning requirement. Relief from that could only be granted by the ZBA.
Right.
When I look at the town tax card, it shows 1,670 square feet on the first floor. And it shows about 1,260 square feet on the second floor.
Some of which are probably consumed by hallways and stairways and so forth,
Right.
so we're not counting two of them.
So that would, I think that would be good.
On the first floor, the second floor is
All the more reason though, if it's close to the required limit, someone's going to need to know what those square footage is.
And there's one other question I have, and that is that looking at the front page here, you did get the lot coverage on here. For Aquifer Protection District 1, which is what you're in, all downtown is pretty much. It was a 15% maximum coverage, and existing right now is 14.15, so it was pretty close. After you pave the driveways, to put in the parking areas, add the new addition, presumably all these things are included in your new coverage. You came up with a 26.41. And I think the board can waiver up to 35% lot coverage if an engineered infiltration system that was approved by the planning board is designed and constructed. So that would have to be dealt with. Can't just. That's one of our ordinances. That's not waivable by the board.
Well, it's not waivable if they can't use the planning board that stormwater management is taking, aquifer recharge is available, is on the site.
Right. And is constructed.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the integration design then onto the plans.
Do we believe the plans are completed on consent jurisdiction?
I don't think so, but frankly, I think there's missing dimensions, including the apartment sizes and for I don't think there's enough information for us to make this determination. So I think you said that the survey will be done by the end of March. I think that would be useful addition to this, especially since it might determine the lot lines both on the north and south side. I don't think the west side's that critical. Obviously, the east side's the road, but.
Well, again, we did have a survey, it just wasn't the Hampshire surveyor.
Right, but you said you had a new one that's scheduled for the next month. Is that
Right.
Okay, so,
However, if I could, we've been working on this project for well over a year. And if there's something that we could
sorry to interrupt you, but I think the point is that the question that Peter was asking about invoking jurisdiction, which starts the 65-day time clock for us to make a decision. I can't imagine that we're not going to have to continue this anyway because we need more information. If nothing else, the size of the apartments to make sure that they comply with code requirements. So, I mean, I don't see us making a decision tonight anyway, so I don't think necessarily that invoking jurisdiction is going to create any delay in itself.
Well, you're saying 65 days, so that means it would be 65 days from another date when we came back.
No, that's 65, sorry.
65 days is the outer limits, the max that we have to make a decision. It doesn't mean that we're going to take 65
I
days,
see.
but it does start that statutory time clock. So, in order for us to invoke that, we need to consider that the information is complete enough.
Wasn't asked for in the site plan application, or it would have been there, so as far as the sizes, clearly that's something we could have tomorrow.
Any other questions or comments from the planning board? Seeing none, open for public comment. The public is welcome to make comment. You do need to introduce yourself and give your address. Get your microphone.
It seems to be working.
Alex, do you want to be in a different spot so the cameras will pick it up? Would you like that in a different position so the cameras will pick it up?
They're gonna step back so people can come. You should have an invitation, because in the
So, okay, is there any public comment? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we need to put this way. Yes,
No, so as long as I was moving that other one because they were sitting there, so I figured that they resolved it.
I'm attorney Michael Donovan. I have a municipal planners law practice in Concord. I've been for about 36 years. I represent Scott and Black of 180 Main Street, Virginia North 188 Main Street, and Jefferson Road 184 Main Street. All three of those parishes are winners to this project. And I want to begin by saying that in proposing this application as it now stands, my clients are not against veterans housing. But the position is, as I will explain to you in a moment, it must be for the local town ordinances. Otherwise, the town will be setting a dangerous precedent by approving what amounts to multifamily housing in the historic district. And that is the reason why they are approaching the dealing. The veteran myself, and the other veteran, and I would not represent clients who are opposed to veterans housing as a proposition itself. They're concerned about the precedent that this sets in the historic district. I have a memorandum which I'd like to distribute to them, which explains our position. I suspect you've seen a couple of legal opinions from other attorneys, so you will not have another one. This is the original, which I'll give to the board clerk, and then I have copies for each of you. Three for the one on that side. three principal reasons, and actually there are a couple more reasons that some of my clients were getting into that I'll bring up. First, it does not, as been briefly discussed, it does not comply with section 301.1B of the town ordinance, and zoning regulations. That requirement is that every lot has no more than one single family or a two-family dwelling. Second reason is it does not comply with the town's zoning requirement that the units be greater than 600 square feet. This is found in two places. It's found in your zoning regulations, and it's also found in zoning regulations 301.3B. It's also found in the definition of apartment in the zoning regulations. Now, apparently, the applicant was unable to tell you what the square footage of those second floor apartments are. I brought an architect scale, anyone wants to measure them. I have not, because I have not had access to 7 drawings that my clients have, and will represent to you that the two second floor units do not have 600 square feet of floor area. And that 600 square feet floor area is by no means an arbitrary determination. I represented several municipalities over the years of my practice, and that 600 square feet, as I'm sure you're willing to attest, is found in many, and it's actually found in most well-practiced zoning ordinances that are concerned about the number of square feet that are available for health purposes in a dwelling unit, so it's an important requirement. And thirdly, the applicant does not have a certificate of approval from the Historic District Commission for the change of use from the present two-family dwelling to a multi-family dwelling, or whatever they are choosing to call this particular use. Whatever it is, it's an expansion of use from what is there now. They do not have a permit from the certificate of approval from the HDC. Also, my clients have looked at the coverage and believe that it does not comply with your aquifer protection district, regardless of which particular zone it's in. It seems to be a little unclear, even though it doesn't comply. And I heard what I said about groundwater recharge. That is a very technical computation, and they appear not to have anybody on the team right now that is able to put together that computation on groundwater recharge. But it's, minimally there's accepted there for groundwater recharge, which I suspect is in your words, review yours. But it's a fairly technical analysis that must be done by a hydrologist or someone similar to credentials. Going on to our first argument, it's 1271 in Hampshire that a planning board may not approve a site plan where zoning was not allowed or used. And I give you the legal authority for that in my memorandum. And the change to use of 4 units, whatever you call those 4 units, is an increase in density. And the case of Cesare, the Newman, which I put on in my memorandum, is ongoing because it involved a site plan application which did not comply with the zoning ordinance density requirements. Now, I think we've all seen, and it's been referred to probably a letter from last summer from the attorney for the applicant that uses terminology and arguments to get around the fact that the ordinance was always clearly says that only 2 family and 1 family homes are allowed. What is overlooked in that letter is that your zoning regulations have what's called a conflicts clause, which says that when ordinances conflict, the more strict or the higher standards governs. So to the extent that you, even which I don't, to the extent that you to which you may buy into the argument of terminology that residences are somehow non-dwelling units, and so on and so forth. Even if you accept that argument, the conflicts clause requires a stricter regulation, the regulation that would be the single lot, either one family, two family, that regulation would apply. If there's a problem with administering that, and workforce housing is used as an example of whatever the attorney provided, if there's a problem with that conflict, you all, as a planning board, should be addressing it and straightening it out through zoning rules, not through just accepting the legal opinion of an attorney for that. You are allowed to enforce the site plan with the ordinance as it's written. If there are legal violations, those requirements of one sound should not apply. Those violations need to be resolved by the zoning board of adjustment, not by the planning board. Your job is to apply the ordinance that written to these applications. Our second argument, and 600 square feet is clear enough, and it has nothing to do with the terminology of residence versus dwelling units versus apartments. So that's just plain clear. And they will need a variance from the CBA to get around that. Assuming they verify, we need to verify those two separate units are substandard in size. Now, the other argument is that the HEC certificate of approval is required for the change of use. And town council has prepared a letter that I suspect all of you have seen, which appears to say otherwise. But that is really not the case when you look carefully at the ordinance and the historic district commission regulation. Reviewing what we understand say are the purposes of historic regulation, historic district regulation. And those are on page 2, and then just take a few seconds to scan through those purposes. If you want to please. A plain review of those purposes indicates that they go beyond preservation of historic structures. First, the preservation of structures and building places, emphasizing the basis of historic architecture and community value encompasses more than structures of architecture. If the purpose is limited to preservation of structures, only the word structures and architecture would be used in the statute, not places and so on. Second, the specific enumerated purposes, 1 through 5, include preserving districts which reflect cultural, social, economic, political, community, and architectural history, and conserving property values in those districts. Achieving these purposes involves more than merely reviewing exterior structural alterations. Uses of land, which land is places, play an integral part in determining economic, political, and community values, and most notably the conservation of property values. That's what historic district preservation is all about. Next, look at RSA 67446, which follows the memorandum. It defines the allowable content of historic district regulations. That's on page 3. Within the district, municipalities are empowered to regulate construction, operation, repair, moving, demolition, or use of such structures and places. Thus, nothing in the purposes, the statutory purposes of historic districts, or the allowed powers of the historic district limits the regulation to exterior alterations. And the Kingston Historic District, which John was adopted 50 years ago, follows the authority granted by the state. If you look at section 102.7 of the Historic District, it says that any persons who want to institute a new use for a large existing use of land or buildings within the district, which must file an application with the agency. The agency guidelines, which also were adopted by town voters, are instructive. They are on page 4 of section 102.9 of the historic district ordinance. The change of historic regulations and the historic district commission may review change of any amount of noise, congestion, and traffic that the proposed building or use will create in the district. And the commission must also review the proposal of design or materials or purpose or use inconsistent and detrimental or injurious to buildings and purposes or uses upon joining hands and when such proposal is such that it will detract the character and viability of the Kingston Historic District. Now, we're not going to weigh in whether this proposal meets any of criteria or not. We're not going to form us what you cannot do is approve a site plan for a use that requires a certificate of approval for that use or change of use, in this case, from the HDC without the applicant giving that certificate of approval, in which case our clients have different testimony about these criteria guidelines and give it to the HDC. I know that the application was the agency reviewed the building on October 11th, 2022. It was a typo in the memo, I say 2023, futuristic error. It was on October 11th. It was only for the exterior alterations to this structure. That's clear in both the face of the application. Their application form did not check off the box that said they were looking for a certificate of approval for change of use. And the chair, minutes of the meeting, clearly says that certificate of approval is not for the use. With respect to town council's December 28th opinion, I briefly touched on that in my memo. I'm not take any further time, and it is inspired. I think I addressed already in the first parts of the memo why HDC review the change of use is required. And so a lot of the people I think providing is not sound at all. My understanding is that it's also the board must deny the site plan application because it does not comply with zoning regulations. I haven't looked into it yet whether you want to keep it self-restriction or not. It appears that you may not head in that direction. But when you do accept the restriction and review the revised site plan, then we believe you must deny it for the reasons I outlined here, non-compliance with the zoning regulations, non-compliance with the requirement for a certificate of approval for the change of use. Alternatively, I suppose if you want to proceed something like site plan approval, then I believe we should condition any approval that you may get on the applicant obtaining necessary variances to section 301.1B and a 600 square foot requirement from the ZBA. And for the applicant obtaining the scenario approval from the HDC for the change in the enlargement use. I'd like to reserve some time for the bottle of anything that the applicant says that needs to be provided. I think that the style has others or clients who want to ask salient points as well. I think I'm glad to answer any questions before I turn these over.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else would like to give me
scale how it shows apartments, but I take measure out
the second floor apartments are way under 600 square feet. One is 248, and the other one is 355. Really small, but there's a hall. But even if you double check my measurements, because there aren't any measurements on the plan, just to make sure, the tax car, the whole second floor is 840 square feet. Did you say that?
No, the second, according to the tax card, that's incorrect.
I think you said the first floor was 6.
The first floor was 16 something.
The first floor, the second floor, where those two apartments are.
It says the first floor is 1617.
The second.
The upper floor finished, the two stories is 840, and the top story finished behind it is 420.
So they're proposing that 840 for two apartments.
Yeah, that's 420, which is 1260.
The attic is storage.
No, I'm not talking about the attic.
The second floor, 840, that's square.
You said it's a half story?
The half story is the attic.
You were correct as well.
That's okay. So 840, the second floor square.
The first floor is 1670, the upper floor finished is 840. And the half story finished must be the third floor.
Right, so they're saying that the third floor storage, that's not living space, it's storage for 4 units. The second floor, that's 40, they divide it up into 2 units in a hallway. So even if you took 840 right now, you can't get to the 600. So that, I scale that on the map, but like you said, the architect should, put those numbers on the map.
There isn't even a scale on the map, that's what I learned.
So that was also in the plans. We know that with the HDC, they got approval for those cosmetic changes, but looking at the plans that are from the planning board, they changed. So one of the things that HDC requires is that if you're making a change, you gotta come back to HDC, even if it's cosmetic changes. And so what I'm looking at is changes in the plans from HDC here, specifically the addition. You can see that the plans show that addition space that's double the size from HDC to now. So changing the size, we need to go back to HDC for further review and approval. A couple of other things, the railings, the door was supposed to be wood. One of the plans says no, one case says no, one says wood, so we want to make sure that's buttoned up. And landscaping around the water. The barn in the back was not part of the HDC review. It's shown in the plan, but it wasn't part of the site. But what we've heard through testimony and witnesses is that they're running the barn to make it a clubhouse, right? Which is great. But it becomes part of the site, and the site becomes part of the site. So it's either as a bathroom, it should be figured whatever, something low in there is. It needs to be, part of the site, what's in the barn, what's it doing, what's its impact on the site. Very much, I think that I would say, I think there's any questions before. I have the plans from both the HDC and the planning board in case anyone wants to see the differences.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
You talked about raising the site, the word coming all around this side. I just want to cover one is the driveway. It's been a footpath, 15 years I've lived here. Running back, and it's going to be extended past the house. One well failed a few years ago, and I drove it on the ground. I jumped in 20 feet off the rock line, maybe 25. But if you're going to install from the road to the back, I don't know, but it's still it's a long run to keep in front of the plow. And I was just concerned about where the stone, where the water is going to go, shouldn't go. So far, the well is fine, and, I just want to make sure it continues to be fine, with this, particular area. And I talked to them about that, they talked about pitching across the gravel, and, those kinds of things. I noticed spotlights on the house, I know they're very handy when you're going solar and something work outside, but they can be really limited if they're missing. And we lived there since it was a single family house with the family and Sands in the family built. And we've seen it progress to family and some of the issues that arise and other events. It's fine. Because lack of trust and value, there's no way to really do that. And I think there are a number of spotlights on the side of the shore. So, really tested to that, there we go. And the last is this sort of decision regarding the credentials of the survey group. There was always some question about whether the line was a previous owner said he was, tired of hitting the plow. For some reason, he dug the line out and reset. He said, I probably got it close, but I'm not sure. Okay, so we have a survey to get the line straight, because the line exactly where it was from, and this is the line in proper depth. They turned the line and I asked them for what they had information from the school survey, which is by the back property of one of and not front of one. I said, do it close, and you said this on the front. He said, no, normally, from your experience in planning, when you require certain on any if you have around 3 acres, would you think it's strange that it hits right on the foot, or the inch across the front? Well, it does. Okay? So I don't know, something, I would expect it to be off on the other end after you go around. But now, my survey went halfway, this doesn't close, which suggests the line isn't really where it should be. But there's no way to say with certainty without completing the whole survey. And I talked with him and said, I'm afraid of everything. But now if this environment 2 feet away, maybe it was 42 or 3, I see that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on tonight, but if we have a little time to maybe read the survey, we might go all around and say it's good. Just to get it right. I'm not sure it's a tipping point and whether it's worth all that effort, but I'm certainly willing to consider having whatever today.
And I am concerned that the driveway is being extended such a long distance beyond the existing driveway, since it's only, I think it says 2.1 feet off our lot line. If we have a change in a foot or so, I've got a driveway, a paved driveway, right on my property line, and for me, that is concern, not only for my well, but for the plantings that we have there, under the old chestnut tree, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a concern, and if a variance is granted, I believe it's a regulation, so the planning would be granted that. So be it, but I believe that process should be followed so that it's given due diligence in the due process to grant that variance if you decide to do that. Thank you, that's the correct word. I also, and we're concerned about, we see there's a placement for snow from the parking lot in the back and from the long driveway, but that has been a problem with the driveway so close and where that snow is going to go, where the runoff will go as the snow melts, so that is a concern. I know believe that their yard is wetland, but certainly the corner of our properties where they meet are wetland. I don't know if it's an official farm pool, but it has peepers and we can ski on it in the winter and we can mow it in the summer. So that is a really big concern about runoff. I also have another question about the plan that's submitted tonight. I would like to know if the applicant says that the plan that's submitted tonight is exactly as the plan was submitted to the HDC at our October meeting. My examination of this plan shows some differences, so I would like to hear from the applicant about that. The Historic District Commission certificate of approval says that there can't be any changes from whatever are approved or the applicant needs to come back. I'd also like to say that yes, we did talk with Paula a lot about parking, and she was very empathetic about the trouble we had with cars in the front lawn and all, and they have made arrangements for parking behind, but it wasn't just neighbor request, it was an HDC request that there be adequate parking for that number of people that were coming in. Thank you. But I would like to answer about the exact plans for HDC and for the planning board.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else have any comments on that, Jane? Steve?
My name is Hampshire. I live on 3 East Road, which is a 500-foot road with a circle on the end, and a circle on the end. And perpendicular to where the project is. I'm on the Historic District Committee, but I'm not speaking as a member of that committee. I'm speaking as a private citizen. And naturally, I've been exposed to many cultures and experiences and things of that sort. I want to tell you, in the beginning, I am a veteran myself. I've been stationed in Germany back in the 60s during the height of the Cold War. I was also called to participate in Desert Storm in Saudi Arabia. So I know something about PTSD, being soldiers not a picnic. You run with the commands of various commanders and officers and sergeants, and you have to do what they tell you to do within reason. And so I am really stuck with the question of the permitted uses that the Historic District Commission has enumerated, and I think there's like a dozen or so permitted uses, but this one seems to be maybe out of place. If they're going to have veterans there, it would sort of be like a room house party. It would be under supervision, or they would at least have some way to keep from being homeless. And those people have a very hard time transitioning back into civilian life. Now, of course, there are many statutes like RSA 674:45, and it does talk a lot about cultural resources and historic and architectural and community value. And of course, in New Hampshire law, gives a little bit of scope to the authority of the HDC. They can regulate the construction, alteration, repair, demolition, use of structures and places. That's what they usually do. But when it comes to something that's not in the list of permitted uses, this is where there is a huge controversy. And I'm wondering, if there's a use that's not, I mean, this is not a drive-in Starbucks. It's not an adult bookstore, it's not something like that. But it is a residential situation, and we do have a residential situation on the corner of 125 Main Street, and that's the assisted living. Now these people, senior citizens like myself, they may not be in the best of health like I am. They may have dementia, they may have neurological problems, they may have forgetfulness, they may have many situations. Do you think these people should just be thrown into the streets and not be treated? No, they shouldn't. That's why we have assisted living. And the town approved it. They're doing a great thing for humanity. So I'm thinking about whether this so-called, whether this project, with its different use, would this be against the cultural resources of the historic district? I don't think so. I mean, this town had a doctor 200 years ago, just see it around. He was a doctor, he was a medical doctor in those days, and you couldn't really cure typhoid fever or tuberculosis. They just didn't have medicine. But they didn't let these people just die by themselves. They helped them in the best way possible. And so I think the uses, permitted uses, I think should be expanded. I don't see these uses in a particular zoning ordinance. They're just enumerated as part of, I think it's Article 1200 in the ordinances of the HDC. And I think the uses are related to cultural standards in some way, because we want our town to be uniform and we want to, preserve the historic district as it has been since its founding in 1972. So I think there has to be a standard review in regard to this project. It isn't. There's no standard review. It's done except being arbitrary, very subjective. I don't see any objectivity in this thing. And of course, the only objectivity is this legal opinion and looking at. And I'm wondering how this project will, this is a question you should be asking yourself. Would this project really impact the character of the historic district? I hope 1,000 people agree with me, because I don't think they will. I mean, do people have to be related like what? And basically, what I want to say is the HDC is actively involved with the exterior of the subject structure. Just try to preserve it, not change it without approval. So I think it goes back to how one would interpret what a permitted use would be. And I don't want to just keep talking, but the big question is how would this particular use, having somebody living there, they're not related. It's just, I think it's for veterans. And I don't think it would impact the character of the historic district. In fact, I want to vote for applying the laws. Will this actually impact the historic character of the character of HDC? Thank you very much for hearing me out.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else would like to take public comment this evening? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Okay, further comment from the planning board.
I'm just saying to myself, where do we begin?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have a couple of issues of non-compliance on the zoning stuff. I mean, I identified at least two things that probably need variances, and so I mean, we could certainly just deny it on the face that way. But in the past, we've had a history of, if we've identified situations that require variances, we have continued a hearing to a future date and given the applicant an opportunity to seek a variance, and if they are successful, then they can come back and we continue the process, so that they wouldn't have to start all over again.
Right.
So that's something that we can consider.
I'm on the same line. I'm trying to look at one thing here.
I think one comment I'd like to make, I was still concerned about the lighting, but lighting would certainly have to follow the town lighting ordinance, which requires that you not go past the property line.
Yeah, and
Just
you don't need to come to the planning board for that. Jessica, the code enforcement officer, can deal with lighting infraction issues on his own, and so ideally the owners would turn those off until that's corrected, but that doesn't need to come to us.
Yeah.
So, and you can look at lighting ordinance and tell us what shielding you need and stuff.
Some of those lighting issues came up during a time when we did not have a full-time code enforcement officer.
Right.
And that's different now, and I would hope that if an abutter had an issue with non-compliance and reported it to the code enforcement officer, that individual would take action.
So that was just one little bit that I wanted to reassure you about. The one question I had was about the public comment. Apparently, someone mentioned something about the use of the barn, and I'd like to hear whether or not the barn is intended to be used for anything other than storage. That's one question I have.
That would certainly need to be part of any site plan review that we would do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So certainly that would be part of it. There's certainly a lot of apartment buildings, multifamily buildings on that street.
That's why I was curious. They keep talking about two in the multifamily where we have multiple buildings that are more than two.
Yes, a number of, I counted 5 right on that street between the white and the whites.
And when they talk about change in use, it was multifamily and it's continued to be multifamily. So where do we make the difference of 3-family or 4-family or 2-family?
Usually we do that, I think, by separate capacity.
Correct.
But
again, change use, we've gone from multifamily to multifamily.
so these are just.
Duplex is allowed anywhere in town, but sorry, sorry.
It's
Residential, that's what I'm saying.
That's what you feel.
We're talking about duplex, this is not a duplex.
Right, well, that's what it is now.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it is, that's now, yes.
It
And
was a 2-family, it was a 1-family, it was a 2-family. It's been another.
So in the change, if one were to argue a change of use, it's going from a 2-family to essentially a 4-family, because 4 units, 4 living units.
But it's going from multifamily to multifamily.
That's why I'm saying multifamily to multifamily. I guess
Right, it's increasing the density though, it's
Correct.
the intensity of use.
So if the decision gets made to increase the density, then we have to make certain that the increase of the density does not affect anything else, any of the abutters, anything else. Should that be a decision that's made?
Right, and this issue did come up in another context, where it was really more important that there had been 4 apartments in a building. And there was a considerable delay on repairing 2 of them after a fire. But the argument was made that ordinance that does say that there are no more than a single family or a two-family structure on any building lot only applies to rural residential, because obviously in districts that allow multifamily, building lots can have, 10-person apartment building. So, and that point was brought up, and that was one of the arguments that town attorney had made in a recommendation, and that's why, and it wasn't clear, because we had found that building requirement said single or 2-family, but then it is on the face obviously not applicable to zones that don't specify the way residential specifies. Single family obviously specifies as does SFA, and it's just HTC, not HTC, the historic district 1, it doesn't specify
The types of
residences allowed, and that's where the ability comes up. So, and as Lynn pointed out, that there are multiple multifamily structures in the HD1. So
historically, it's a common use in that district.
I'm almost thinking like Glenn said, maybe a continuance, because there's multiple questions that have to be answered.
Absolutely.
Versus just a denial.
the given information we have now doesn't allow us to
Correct.
take and not only allows us to accept jurisdiction, because I think that would be putting too much pressure on the applicant, among other things, to get everything done and still be able to allow a hearing in that 60 days. So I don't think we need a motion to not accept jurisdiction, but we'll just postpone that.
But we've also, cases where we've granted continuances for an applicant to get their act together and do further work with other boards. Glenn has advised us that we can do that without taking jurisdiction.
Right. And in this case, I think one of the recommendations that's been brought up is that if there's a discrepancy between the plans that were approved, sorry, not the plans, but the HTC worked with, and what we have here really needs to be returned to HTC for review of the current plans, and then they need to specify that they saw the plans dated such and such, so that we know exactly which ones are ready.
Yeah, and we can't make that determination because we don't.
No, we don't control
The
it.
HDC would have to make that, would have to check and make sure that what we're looking at are the ones that they approved.
Well, certainly. I think that's a question, because you only asked the applicant tonight, because that's certainly one question we have, is the plan differences in another one sort of boards.
Yeah.
For us to take into consideration.
Sorry.
But, we've always been very trying to be sensitive to time issues and time frames. It's far more important that we get it right than to do it So, the applicant will come back for just a moment and answer the questions for us. Thank you. So, are you intending to use the barn for anything?
The barn is intended to be used for storage and as a workshop.
What type of workshop?
Just a workshop for people that are willing to do crafts or whatever, just an activity area for the residents.
So you're not intending to finish it or?
put bathrooms in it or
Heated?
heated. No, yeah, we do want to put a bathroom in it and why people, so it can be used year round for that purpose. Is that on there? No. Needs to be.
It needs to be.
Okay.
Can I just ask, I am understanding that the plan to create parking behind the buildings was done sort of to appease the abutters. But in hearing about the use, I guess I'm questioning the extent to which the parking that's allocated here will be sufficient for the use of the property. Meaning, will there be ancillary support services who are accessing the property and needing a place to park above and beyond those 4 spots that may or may not be allocated for the residents? So just a thought to consider, if parking will exceed those 4 spaces, then moving the parking behind the building is really sort of moot, because you'll still have vehicles parked along that extended driveway.
There's no space for guest parking.
Yeah, guest parking, and then you can't park in the driveway because it would block
Correct.
egress and ingress.
Is it the intent of the 4 spaces to provide 1 space per unit?
In general speaking, our experience tells us that it would be unlikely that even 2 of those units will have a vehicle. If there are support services, it will be something that's there temporarily, it certainly is not something that's there all day or equal, so that the 2 long driveways at the front will be more than adequate for any visitors or anybody that comes, perhaps in nurse to provide services to somebody in one of the handicapped units.
Where are your other locations? The other places you've done this, do you have done in other communities like this?
Well, we have 3 buildings in Kingston, we have a building in Kingston, and we have 3 buildings in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
So you have them in places with high density areas where people can walk to things like grocery stores, and if they want to have vehicles, we're not a community that provides much in elder care or in any kind of services like that. Just a thought, I mean, are they going to be isolated there, or it is a place where they really can access services they might need? I just wonder about that, because in a rural community, if you're in a building, you're pretty much isolated if you don't have a car and access to that. Is this the best place for something like that? Just a comment. There's nothing to complain about, should be made here, but it's just a question as to whether the community is the right place for something like that.
Well, those things will be attended to from the people that live there. We thought it was, a rural community, we had quite a few veterans that were there. Veterans, 2 very large veterans clubs. And 6,000 some odd residents, we have quite a few actually, 7.88% of the residents are veterans. So we have quite a few in the community.
We do. And then the other question, are the differences between the plan you presented to us and the plan that's approved by the Historic District Commission?
The differences would be in the rear, which you cannot see from the street, but it was a 2-story structure that was going to be the access from the rear, and that has been reduced to 1 story. And it does extend out a few feet, but it's not anything that can be seen from the street.
So Glenn, does that mean it needs to go back to HGC?
I believe the way that it was described earlier, yes. But I don't know if we're close to the agency.
Is your agency rep, I would agree with that, yes.
Okay.
He works much more than the agency.
Can I ask a quick question? If the dimensions of the footprint stay the same, but if it went from 2 stories to 1 story, does that still need to go back to the?
Yeah.
I believe it does.
They're not just concerned with impermeable covers, they're concerned with visual.
Yes, I know, visual from the public way, which is,
I hate to get into details, because I really think it's for the agency to decide. I'm just wondering if from any angle on Main Street, could it be visible?
Again, look at it in detail.
Again, I think it's an HDC issue to work out.
We'll just put that. So what's your point of board?
I guess we should ask the applicant how much time they would need to answer the questions that we asked.
Well, it's more than that.
And to get a review from each to see.
That, but more so if, I mean, yes, we've asked a lot of questions, and they've heard a lot of information, abundance and so forth. If we would entertain continuance to allow them to seek variances if we thought that was an option to them, we want to be clear as to what we thought they need to seek the variances. We probably need to cite the zoning references. Yeah. So we got that captured. So,
If you were back to 2 stories, that was approved by the HDC, we would go back. I'm sorry, if you return the back to 2 stories, or whatever else, we would have to do that.
I'd also like to make a suggestion that we have legal counsel here tonight with us on behalf of the applicants and the defendants and everybody else that want to talk about this. I think maybe we should have our legal counsel review all that as well. Send that to our attorney, just to review that. And I am not an attorney by no means, but we should have that probably forward.
Yeah, we'd be good to try to
Correct.
we didn't know that.
Correct, this paraphrasing what she said about
Yeah, respect the fact that we was here, but we should probably have something to look at that.
well, I can tell you that I don't think that this board has seen the letter that the select board got from town council. I saw it because of the HDC person. It's a very long letter explaining, to boil it down, saying that the HDC does not have jurisdiction over use. The attorney heard here tonight takes exception to that and says that the HDC does. And I'm not an attorney, but my reading of the article says I believe that they have jurisdiction over use. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to seek legal counsel, if it's the same attorney that the town has, they've already rendered their opinion.
Well, if we don't have jurisdiction over use, then why do we send everyone that wants to become a tenant over there to the HGC to let them know what's?
Well, that's a great question. Well, and that's what you know.
In the class, that's being asked of the board.
That's right. And this is all going to be resolved.
Right.
If it's determined that the town has been doing the process for X month in the right path, we've been doing it that way for a very long time. And if we do need to change it, there are going to be multiple departments and multiple groups that we need to sit down and work out, what the flow is. Yeah.
So, do I hear that you're suggesting that perhaps having had opinions from Attorney Donovan and town attorney, that we should perhaps seek a third-party attorney for this to,
Well, I wasn't suggesting that. I guess what I was trying to say is that if you wanted to present Attorney Donovan's work here to our council to review, I think you're essentially going to get the same letter back that the select board has already gotten from town council. So that is a question of, well, then do you want yet another party to be?
And can I just,
I don't know.
And so there was the jurisdiction question. Correct me if I'm wrong, a piece of what we heard tonight was also about the ability to even approve the use as it's proposed as a four-family dwelling versus two-family dwelling.
With regard to Article 301.1E, which talks about, two-family or single-family, and the fact that this proposal doesn't fit into Article 1. So that's one of the zoning questions that I've identified. The other one is also building code, size of units, and meeting that minimum 600 square feet.
And our council did not weigh in on
that's not,
the first, correct? It was strictly jurisdiction for use.
Something made about this by council.
Didn't you discuss before you were in the most recent personals?
I think she discussed the numbers, she did not discuss the size of it.
No, she didn't. She did not discuss that.
that is significant.
But those were the two items that I sort of had written down as issues to be dealt with for variances. Unless it could be shown that all of the units meet the minimum 600 square feet, then that one goes off.
I think we should just make it clear also that there's ground for protection for low coverage issue if they can't show.
Right, and that would have to go to an environmental for design of the system. And that would have to go, then that would have to go dense for review, as it always does with all these changes in coverage we deal with. So that's one of the questions I was asking about how much time it would take to design the system, because quite frankly, the plans that we're not even close, we're already less than 1% from the maximum before it's even started the construction. So that would have to be something that would be a set of engineer plans and have to go through our engineering review. So,
Sounds like it's going to take at least 2 months.
which is another reason why, since this is a site plan approval, it gets us back to that original way. I think if we did that, we would probably withdraw about having surveyor sign. Are you planning to withdraw that request for waiver?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so, because I think if, in this level of site plan review, it's going to need to be a registered site plan, that Deed County, that deeds, Rocking County deeds on this.
So let me ask, the question about the aquifer design, is that driven by the fact that there was a proposal to pave the driveway?
It's driven entirely by your own estimate of the coverage area. So, right now, the driveways are presumed not paved, look like they're dirt to me. And so, we have existing driveways, the driveway extensions, the parking areas. You have one negative, you're taking a shed down, so it's a small area that will reduce the coverage area. But, then you have the addition that you've put in the back that when it's hidden, regardless of whether it's 1 story or 2, that additional area there and anything else that's going to have an infirmary coverage in the lot. So your engineer will be able to compute that, but Dennis,
So, I think it's important, 2 things. One is, if I'm involved, or anybody's involved in reviewing the plans is to have plans sized appropriately, because they can't do a 3D, so full-size copy is important, but also you should have existing conditions plan, because if you have an existing conditions plan, the area that in the back, I believe, was where a swimming pool was. So that would be considered existing impervious compared to proposed impervious. So there would be a calculation that wouldn't be necessary there. So you need to have existing conditions plan versus proposed conditions plan. I find it very difficult to believe that driveway is proposed is not going to impact the environment. But that's certainly something for people to talk about. But, so you know, we're happy to review the plans if they come back in full-size plans, existing conditions proposed, and have them surveyed.
So HDC said, you can't have it in front, or don't have it in front, but you have it in the back. No, ladies, well, I think it was, maybe they didn't say that, but it was specifically, HDC said that, they're doing one thing, and we're suggesting another, I'm going another. Well, we could also not pay, could also just make it black, which I assume would change the equation.
It would change the calculation for cover, for impervious cover. It wouldn't change the issue with regard to just the lot setback.
And would make it more difficult for veterans who perhaps in wheelchairs or something to navigate across the gravel driveways, quite as easy. Lots of things to consider, what's best for the people you're trying to serve, and what's best for the planning.
Kind of like, I think you're leading up to this, I kind of want to hear what the applicant thinks they'd like to do at this point before we move forward with something.
What we're trying to do with provide housing for full veterans is have beautiful historic building that we have to maintain in the way that it is.
However, given everything that you've heard and the issues that have been brought up, I'd be surprised if we could get a vote to do anything tonight as far as approval, so the question is, do you want to then proceed with other boards, like perhaps variances on those couple of items?
We're told that we can need variance. We consulted with the town attorney, and in no time is that what I was doing. So I guess, we would want to revisit her correspondence to see if that's the case. We tried to do everything the town has asked. And at this point, we have the road. We've spent a lot of money on this. We've spent a lot of time. We've been patient. But we know from what the town council said is that the use question really shouldn't even be part of the discussion. And the notion that keeps being brought up again is troublesome. And so, what we intend to do though, we didn't realize that the HDC would take issue with a small change in the back where it could not be seen, but we will return the plan to exactly what it was. It will be the second story, and we'll straight up the back a couple of feet, so that it's exactly as it was.
Just for clarification, the issue of use, the attorney is saying that that determination doesn't lie with HDC, but it does lie with other boards and entities in town, and certainly the planning board mandated use.
And then the apartment size she did not address. As you know, we talked about the numbers of people, but the apartment size is one of our regulations we follow here there is a minimum apartment size, but in our ordinance that has 600 square feet. What's that?
I'm a little bit of a meeting that.
Okay, so we'll need a set of plans that
Yes.
is obviously needs to have dimensions on it, and needs to be shown that the living area for each is minimum 600 square feet. So.
And then, by the way, we did bring in full size twins, 12 sets.
Okay, well,
I don't know,
but I can get it, I'm sure, but if it's an impervious surface and groundwater recharge issue, then I need to have existing conditions proposed.
I believe that's part of the second plan that shows where that old pool was, and that the room, so I want that information.
So it looks like a lot more needs to get done. I think the plan is to, get the questions answered on a number of different things. Incorporate services, the survey, the size of the rooms, the barn, all of those things, and it's gonna take a little bit of time to do that, so suggesting we want to continue this to maybe April. Give you time to get that work done, you're not gonna have a survey done until the end of March. We're not gonna do it to the end of March, so you may not have that in your hands, so.
Well, I know that the request that you see us again, I think that we get a lot done and show you the progress and show you the contract for the survey, so you can see that we are intending to do it.
But we're not going to approve anything until it's done. I don't believe, are we?
I was under the impression we were looking to have those survey plans to inform any decision moving forward.
But in the event that the line isn't good, shown on the plans, I'm glad you changed it.
Exactly. So I think, I can't imagine you want us to see any budget, I think it will give you a list that we can.
I really prefer it if you would consider seeing us again in March.
So we start moving for that way. So the start of March, you'll have the survey completed, and work done to us and into us by the March 21st meeting, we need to make this by March 9th. Okay?
So you say all those things need to be done by March 9th?
Yes, we don't want to do it piecemeal. We'd like to see it all together and all done so that we can look at it all and approve it, rather than coming to us and still having to, because the survey isn't completed, and we now extend again until April, rather than do this, if you get everything together. So you come once and get it done. It'll be far better plan. So if you'd like to come back in March, we'll certainly continue to March, but if you don't have anything to us by noon on March 9th, then at that point you can give us a letter that says you'd like to continue until April.
Would that be all right?
Sure.
Thank you.
Do you have a question?
So moved. Can I do
So
that?
you made a motion to continue to March.
March 21st, plans due.
Plans due no later than noon on.
The 9th.
Not so much.
I'll say it. Yes.
It's never moved.
Just a moment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion on the January 17 minutes?
Yes, so moved. I didn't see anything.
I'll second. No, you need to,
Go on.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Did we just go to correspondence unless anybody else has anything? Any other business coming before the floor?
No, I'll just put out a plug that the age-friendly Kingston survey went live today. And the link is on the library website, I believe. Melissa sent it out.
Could you send it out to the board members?
I'll do it. The age funding for Kingston survey.
So how does someone want to access it?
It's Paul Butler, Marissa, and Melissa. Marissa for functional services and Melissa are all getting that. We're putting the word out on the planning board. And the library is the lead on this, so the link can be on their website. I'm picking up hard copies tomorrow at both the LPC offices and going back to the library and the town hall. And we're going to be contacting Americans and all the senior living facilities and everywhere else. So, and there's a $50 gift certificate for Hampshire, was a chance to win that as well.
Anything else coming from the board? Motion to adjourn? Second. Favor?